So I've got some new updates on the Galaxy S26 Ultra. Let's get into it. What's up guys, Sal here. So first things first, the S26 launch timeline has been a mess. We've seen a lot of back and forth on this. Initially, the word was that the launch would be pushed to February with the actual release happening in March. Then a separate report showed up saying, nope, nothing major is changing. It will launch more or less on schedule, maybe just a week later than when the S25 launched. And now we're right back where we started. February launch, March release. This time the info is coming from Ice Universe along with a trusted Korean outlet, so yeah, this one carries some weight. What that basically translates to is this. Expect the unpacked event to land sometime in the second half of February, with the phone showing up in stores roughly 2 weeks later in March. As for why this delay is even happening, that part is still a big question mark. It could be a last-minute reshuffle involving the Edge and Plus variants. It could be the ongoing RAM supply issues the entire industry is dealing with right now. Or it could be something else entirely. Bottom line, we don't know for sure, but as of now, a delayed unpacked event is what you should expect. Next up, we already know the S26 Ultra is getting bumped up to 60-watt wired fast charging, and now Samsung has already launched the charger itself. This is what it looks like. Samsung says that when the charger is plugged in but not actively charging a device, it only pulls 5 milliwatts of power. That's 0.005 watts. In real world terms, that's basically nothing. Now, there's this idea that fast charging somehow destroys your battery faster, but a popular YouTuber called HTX Studio actually tested this properly. They ran a 2-year experiment across 40 different phones, comparing fast charging to slow charging to see if there was any difference. After hundreds of charge cycles, the results were pretty straightforward. Fast charging did not cause noticeably more battery degradation than slow charging. Phones that were fast charged lost almost the same amount of battery capacity as the ones charged slowly. The difference between the two groups was tiny. So no, the 60-watt fast charging on the S26 Ultra is not gonna harm your battery health. The impact is basically negligible. Now let's talk about the S26 Edge. We already knew Samsung had effectively cancelled it, but just to be cautious, Samsung was still developing the S26 Edge as a potential May release, similar to what they did with the S25 Edge. Multiple credible reports suggested Samsung was taking a wait-and-see approach, planning to decide sometime next year whether the S26 Edge would actually launch. Well, according to Korea Economic Daily, that decision has now been made. Samsung has completely halted development of the S26 Edge. That means it's not launching next year, not in February, not in May, not at all, ever. The report claims weak sales of the iPhone Air played a big role in this decision. In fact, it even says Apple itself is considering cancelling the iPhone Air 2 in 2026. The reality is, there just isn't much of a market for ultra-slim phones. And it's not because people don't like slim phones, it's because they don't like the compromises that come with them. Moving on, Google recently pulled up something that for years, Apple fans were told was impossible. They made AirDrop work with Android using QuickShare. At first, this feature was limited to Pixel 10 devices, but now Qualcomm has confirmed that this is coming to all Android phones running Snapdragon. That means this is no longer a Pixel thing, this is an Android thing. And that's a big deal. One of Apple's strongest locking tools just stopped being exclusive. And once the ecosystem advantage is gone, Apple doesn't get to hide behind exclusivity anymore. Now it's straight competition, hardware versus hardware, software versus software, pricing versus pricing. And that's why this matters, not because file sharing is exciting, but because control just slipped. And when control slips, the entire ecosystem argument starts to look a lot weaker. With that said, Samsung is currently running some pretty insane holiday deals. We're talking a flat $720 off the Z Fold 7, $250 off the Watch 8 Classic, and $90 off the Buds 3 Pro. If you're interested, the link is down in the description. And finally, even though the One UI 8 beta is already live, Samsung is still keeping 6 features completely under wraps, all of which are set to debut with the Galaxy S26 Ultra. Click right here and I'll see you there.